Hey, you're watching another episode of Ben Recommends, a show in which I tell you all about a comic book series that I think that you should check out. Click on this picture if you haven't seen the first Ben Recommends, in which I recommended 3 different series from Image Comics. From now on, I will only be doing 1 comic series per video. It just makes it easier for me to make a video about them, and it means I can go a little bit more in depth. Now, let's get going with this recommendation. I adore sex criminals. Now, that may seem like a controversial statement, however, let me explain. Sex Criminals is a comic series written by Matt Fraction and with art from Chip Zdarsky. A guy called Chip. It started way back in September of 2013 and it is awesome. So the story follows Susie and John. These 2 people have a very interesting thing happen to them when they have sex. As they climax, time stops. Yep, you heard me right. When they finish, time freezes. They are then able to move around in this frozen world until they finish what is known as the refractory period. This is the period of time following climax when the nerves or muscles are unresponsive to further stimulation. Boom, science with Ben. One day, these 2 meet up. One thing leads to another, and they get busy. Now, bearing in mind the whole freezing time thing doesn't happen to everyone. In fact, they've never met anyone else who it happens to. They have finally found someone in the same situation as themselves. What they do next is even more interesting. Wow, I sound like a bad clickbait article. Think about it. What would you do if you and your partner could stop time by banging? The possibilities are explored in this story. I think Sex Criminals is such a great book because it approaches the topic of sex like it's your mate. It's not a risque topic because it doesn't have to be one when you're with a friend. You can have a laugh about it or you can be serious. Either way, no one is judging or telling you off for an open discussion about sex. It's refreshing and there's no other book like it. The characters are so likeable and relatable and their relationship is the key to the success of this story. John and Susie are both funny and incredibly charming. You can't help but find yourself rooting for their relationship. The creative team absolutely nailed it. It's also really accessible. Unless, of course, sex makes you uncomfortable, in which case you're probably doing it wrong, and you should avoid this book. Any non-comic readers who pick this up are in for a huge surprise, like my girlfriend, who loved it. No superheroes in sight, just fun, interesting storytelling. If for whatever reason you don't think that this story is weird and wacky enough for you, then let me show you this tweet that I got back from Chip Zdarsky, the artist of the story. I was asking him what the weirdest thing he had to draw for this series was. So far there's 2 volumes of it released, and I can't wait for the 3rd one, which is coming out soon. So go ahead, check out Sex Criminals.